is it, Georgie?
Has something happened?
I was flying a kite and it got caught on a nanny.
Whatever are you talking about?
Come look.
Wait, where did you get that kite?
I found it in the park. She kept it from blowing away.
It's funny when when people speak to me about it in those very grand, slightly overwhelming terms, it is still a very challenging thing for me to absorb, that idea. I'm incredibly proud to be her now for this generation. I'm so fortunate because she's so iconic and still such a delight to play and to be. So I don't know, it's sort of quite a hard thing for me to compute still, you know.
Mary.
Poppins. Close your mouth, please, Michael. We are still not a codfish. Jane Banks. Still rather inclined to giggle, I see.
Well, I think, how do I carve out new space? How do I make my own version of her? What is my own version? And the great thing was that I was brought into the fold very early on, you know, in 2015. We didn't even start shooting until 2017. And so I had many, many months to allow her to sort of permeate and sort of try to build this crazy nanny, you know, who's such a superhuman with great humanity. And so what will she be like to me? You know, I had lots of time. And that was huge, you know, that it was a slow burn. It wasn't that I felt thrown in at the deep end by the time we started shooting. We had 9 weeks of rehearsal, pre-records, the whole thing. She and all of us, I think, felt the characters were so in our bones by the time the cameras rolled. It was all then about the colours, and that was the best part.
Oh, dear.
Look, the picture's changed.
Looks as though they've broken your carriage wheel.
That they have. It's useless now.
Useless as a chocolate teapot.
The board is speaking.
And who do we think is going to fix that?
Ah, there's the riddle. Then what broke it fixes it, that's what I say.
That was a bit daunting. I mean, that was day one of rehearsals, you know, and you're working with the great Rob Marshall and John DeLuca, who have choreographed some of the most extraordinary shows out there. And I think they probably took a bit of a risk, you know, not knowing if I could dance or not. And I was like, well, I can move. I just don't know if I'm a dancer, you know. But again, the dances and the songs were all sort of tailor-made to what Lynn and I were sort of capable of doing, you know.
What do you think, Mary Poppins?
Well, I suppose we have no choice.
But how are we going to do that?
I know a bit about fixing carriages.
But we can't fix the carriage wheel. It isn't possible.
Everything is possible, even the impossible. Now, gather round, everyone. Spit spot. Georgie, don't forget Gilly. Are we ready?
Ready.
It's easier for me to kind of consider myself that playing a part, because it's not even my natural singing voice, how I play her, because it's her voice, her accent, the way she speaks. Like, so it's a little easier for me to sing like Mary Poppins than it is. I think it's more exposing when you have to sing how you normally would, you know. My oldest daughter has just seen this one. My little one's too young, I think, but my oldest one loved it and was just completely bewitched by it. Just loved it, loved it.
Does she see you differently now as Mary Poppins?
Well, I think she sees me differently. It's weird. She sort of talks about Mary Poppins as being a character rather than me. She doesn't say you. She says, you know, her. I like it when she goes into the bathtub, or I like it when she does this, you know. Which is probably easier for her to understand. God knows what she thinks I do, you know.
Oh, no. Come on, that silly chap.
Sing for us, Mary Poppins!
No.
Come on, have a go.
No, I haven't sung in years.
Sing for us, Mary Poppins. Do sing for us.
No, I couldn't possibly.